Y ahora quiero presentar a nuestra ex alumna del IB, Natasha Esteves, para presentar a nuestro orador principal. Ella hizo el IB en North Miami High School y ahora es una maestra en el International High School of New Orleans. Por favor, un aplauso para Natasha Esteves.
Bom dia, buenos dias, bonjour, good morning. Mi nombre es Natasha Esteves. Mi familia es brasileña, pero nací y fui criada en Miami, cercada de cubanos, dominicanos, haitianos. Yo sé que aquí, hoy, hay tanto hispanohablantes como hay hablantes de inglés. Pero ya que la historia que voy a relatar pasó en una escuela americana, me siento más confortable relatándola en inglés. I earned my IB diploma from North Miami Senior High School in 2006. And then I have to kind of admit that I forgot about IB for a while. But 6 years later, I found myself applying for and getting a teaching position at a school that had an IB diploma. So today I find myself teaching very proudly at the International High School of New Orleans. I'm also cast coordinator there, and it's right here in the heart of the CBD in New Orleans. Though I don't teach IB, joining the IHS family was as if I came full circle in my IB experience. You see, when I graduated from the IB diploma, I didn't imagine I would become a teacher, and let alone a teacher at an IB school. I didn't see that coming. So this whole coming full circle led to a lot of reflection. And as my mind marinated in the strange reality that I somehow, without looking for it, ended up in an IB school, I came upon two moments, or just small defining events, that really helped shape my personal standpoint on education today. And those two moments are what I want to share with you. They were the sort of moments in which you're kind of like, wait, what? So for it to make sense, let me just go back to my time in North Miami Senior High School, where I went to school. North Miami is a low-income community, predominantly African-American and Haitian. It was pretty fun. Since we were like 95% Haitian, we celebrated Haitian Flag Day every year, and that was really cool. And that sounds like a great instance of international mindedness, right? One of many IB mindsets. But here's the thing. All those IB mindsets, they weren't really evenly taught throughout the school. Because although the IB diploma program was put in North Miami as a means of expanding access to people of low income and minority backgrounds, the mere geographic location of the program wasn't really enough to guarantee access to it. So as my high school years went by, I noticed the demographic composition of the program changing. Not surprisingly, since being in the IB program at our school was both a choice and was dependent on your GPA, the actual number of people in the program shrunk. But here's what I found alarming. Most of us who remained in the program to the end, most of us who eventually took all the IB classes and earned the IB diploma, I'm very proud that I earned the IB diploma. I really am proud of it. It was a lot of work. But most of us who actually reaped the benefits of that opportunity, we weren't from North Miami. We were not from that community. So what was keeping the people from the school's community from truly having access to an advanced education through the IB curriculum? I thought a great deal about that question at 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18 years old. I witnessed a sort of segregation at North Miami. Here was a fantastic opportunity located in the heart of a community that was mostly low income. But those that really took advantage of that opportunity were not even from there. There was us, the outsider, smarty IB kids in the 600 hallway, and then there was, and I hate this word, the regular kids. I hate that word. But that's what it was like. Those are the words that we use at our school, the IB kids and the regular kids. So this brings me to my first, wait, what kind of moment. I was in pre-IB biology class. We had pre-IB 9th and 10th grade, freshman year, and I loved biology. I mean, I was that IB student that my junior year in like biology 3 or whatever it was called, IB biology, I asked the teacher if I could teach protein synthesis to the class. I loved biology. Biology was amazing. So 9th grade, we're learning about cellular respiration, and we started really getting into the molecular level of the whole process. And I don't know why, just out of the blue, I started wondering this. But I raised my hand and I asked my teacher this question, out of the blue. Do you teach this to all your classes, including the non-IB ones? No. Why not? They just won't get it. Wait, what? At what point and with what right does a teacher, or anyone for that matter, decide that someone is unable to understand a concept or a process? Especially for those of you in the room today who are educators, can you actually think of someone who doesn't deserve the chance to learn some of the more interesting, challenging lessons that you have to offer? Can you actually come up with anyone, any student, that doesn't deserve that chance at least? So a couple years later, when I was already taking my junior IB classes, so I was in earnest in the IB program, I was talking to a student in the hallway. He was not in the IB program, and so I hardly knew who he was. Because in a school of 2,000 or so students, here we were, an island of smarties, mostly from outside of North Miami. So needless to say, even though most of us weren't, we were seen by students like this boy I was talking to as stuck up and elitist in the eyes of our fellow Miami swamp dogs, with a Z, by the way. So I was talking to the student in our really cramped hallway between classes, and again, I don't remember exactly why, but our conversation led me to ask him, like I did that teacher freshman year, why he didn't try taking some IB classes. I just asked him out of the blue. He's like, no, I'm not smart like you guys. I just don't get it. I can't do that. Wait, what? At what point did he decide that he wasn't smart enough? Or did someone or some event or some system make that decision for him? Here's what I believe to be true. Everyone deserves access, big capital letters, access to a rigorous education, like the IB. But that access is a huge challenge and something that all stakeholders in education should be fighting for, regardless of whether or not they are involved with an IB school. I think that the US is taking a step in the right direction by having IB programs in public schools. But here's the catch. Literally placing an advanced program in a relatively poor neighborhood does not mean access to an excellent education is guaranteed to those who most need it. I love IB. It taught me how to think, how to access information on my own. So how to think, not just what to know. And it taught me to question what I came across, question what I even thought of as knowledge. And it taught me how to synthesize everything that I learned and write a 20-page paper on a topic that I was curious of. And I think everyone deserves that, everyone. Access to an IB education, in my eyes, does not mean eliminating these entrance expectations that we have in terms of GPA and ability. I understand that access by throwing an IB program in a poor neighborhood is not effective, just as access by just opening the doors to IB to everyone wouldn't be effective either. But every child up to age 16, regardless of whether or not they are in a PYP or MYP program, should be receiving an education that is rigorous and challenging and wholesome enough to allow them to meet the entrance requirements of an IB program. An IB level education is not beyond the cognitive reach of any kid. It's not. As a teacher, I know that every single kid in my classroom has tremendous potential. They're different. They all learn differently, but they have that cognitive potential. What I believe has kept kids from having the ability and confidence to enter and succeed in our IB program back at North Miami Senior High is not their general lack of ability, as that freshman teacher of mine suggested, and as that schoolmate of mine thought, but maybe it's a result of decades of really low expectations and lack of skill development. An education at the level of an IB education, one that is centered on international mindedness, which is ever so relevant in a globalizing world, one that explicitly centers around higher order thinking skills, which is what creates critical thinking, creative citizens, one that challenges the student to think, argue, and provide evidence for every single argument, that should be the standard. That sort of education should be the baseline of all education programs. It should never feel elitist to have that sort of access to that level of rigor. For that reason, I actually chose not to teach IB, where I'm teaching right now, an IB school. Because as a freshman teacher with kids coming to me from all backgrounds that you can possibly imagine, in terms of ability especially, I want to experiment in my classroom doing everything that I can in terms of raising expectations and developing skills in my classroom in order to prepare all of them to truly be able to access the IB program our school has to offer their junior year, the IB program that I benefited tremendously from when I was their age. Ahora al español. Cristobal Cobo es de Chile, completó su doctorado en Barcelona y luego trabajó para un centro investigativo de la UNESCO en México. Hoy él trabaja en la Universidad de Oxford investigando el impacto de la Internet en la educación. Es mi tremendo placer presentarles a Cristobal Cobo, your keynote speaker for today.